Cricket World Cup is a few months away. The tournament that will set the tone for it is the Indian Premier League. The stars have begun to descend for the 2019 season that starts a little over a month from now. Shane Warne is here for the Rajasthan Royals and I am catching up with the Australian spin legend. Thank you very much, Warne, for talking to us. It's always a great pleasure to share your cricketing insights. Now, I can see you rocking in that pink shirt. What's the new initiative by the Rajasthan Royals and what role do you play in the upcoming season?
Yeah, look, it's one of those ones that last year we decided to join the cancer organisations and play a game in pink and make awareness for that. And the feedback we had was unbelievable. It was amazing, the feedback we had from all the fans. So we thought 10 years, it's time for a bit of a change for the Rajasthan Royals. And we're deciding to wear pink this year. And today I'm trying to rock the pink as much as I possibly can. And the players this year in 2019 IPL will rock the pink as well. And I think everyone's going to love it.
Well, the association with pink, in fact, dates back to 2009 when Rajasthan Royals had chips on board. I remember the pink doll who an underperformer had to carry, and you were the one you were the mastermind behind that. Have you turned that around to make pink positive this time around?
Exactly. Well, it is the pink city as well. So we think all the correlations and everything emerges with the Rajasthan Royals, the pink. There's so much blue in the IPL. We thought we'd start afresh after 10 years. Let's do something different. And now the boys have come up with the pink outfits, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
Warne, the last time you were the mentor, the Rajasthan Royals made it to the playoffs. Were you involved in making the team this time around? And how hopeful are you actually of them making the Final Four and even winning this edition?
Oh, look, I think what Zubin and the owners have put together with the squad of the Rajasthan Royals is fantastic. I mean, the Royals last year, when I was helping out as team mentor, we made the finals, which was a great achievement. And hopefully we can go one step further this year. I think with the squad we have, we should make the finals with the team and the squad we have. I think most of the players will be available for around 10 games, if not a bit more, and out of 14. So they should have a huge impact, and hopefully the Royals can get into the playoffs again.
Well, I understand that is your prediction, but who will be the X factor in this edition of the tournament for Rajasthan Royals? You let go of Jaydev Unadkat and then you bought him back at the auction for a lesser price. Would you say that was a smart strategy and he's the one you are looking at to become your X factor for this edition of the tournament?
Yeah, look, I think, you know, some of the players we have, you know, I'm a huge fan of Sanju Samson. I think that Samson will be playing. I'd be disappointed if he's not playing for India in all three forms of the game in the next 12 months. He's so good. He's the best young player that I've seen from any country. He's so good, Samson. And I think he'll be player of the series. I think he'll be player of the IPL this year. I think he's that good. JD, who, yes, as you say, we bought back in the auction. Zubin, I've got nothing to do with the cricket department. I'm a brand ambassador and work off-field with strategies. And Zubin and his people, I think, decided on that with the owners, and I think it was a good call. SG and KG, you know, Gopal, the way they bowl, the leg spin and off spin that they have, I think is a really big combination that they're going to have a great IPL as well. And I think with Varun Aaron as well, I think he could be the X factor with his pace. I think the variety in the Royals attack with a top order batting, you know, Butler, Rahane, Tripathi, Sampson, Smith, Stokes. I mean, it's as good as any team and any franchise there is. So there's no reason the Royals can't make the finals this year.
Right, one of the key members of your side, Steve Smith, has undergone a surgery. How hopeful, Warne, are you of Steve returning to the IPL? And even if he's 100% fit, do you think Cricket Australia will allow him to take part in the IPL?
Yeah, well, from an Australian point of view and a Royals point of view, we're hoping that the operation to his elbow will be okay and he'll play a huge part for the Royals leading up to the World Cup for Australia.
Now, Rajasthan Royals' engine room will be powered by a few English players. Do you see Ben Stokes and Joss Butler? For them, this is a perfect opportunity to prepare for the World Cup. And well, you seem to be having a special relationship with Joss Butler.
Well, yeah, I mean, Joss Butler and Ben Stokes will be huge players for England in the World Cup, and they'll be using the IPL as an opportunity to get some form leading up to the World Cup. I mean, they're in terrific form at the moment. I saw overnight against the West Indies, though England were in all sorts of trouble. And it took the two Royals boys, Stokes and Butler, to drag them out of trouble and both be on 60. So, yeah, look, I'm proud of them. I've got a great respect for Ben Stokes. I think what he's been through, the way he conducted himself at the Royals last year was outstanding. He was a leader amongst all the team, and he was brilliant. He's got a great work ethic. Joss Butler is someone that I had a bit of a bromance, shall we say, with Joss Butler. We got along really well. I loved talking cricket with Joss. We became great mates. We became good friends, and it was great to see him back playing so well at the highest level in all forms of the game, and especially in Test cricket.
Now, since we are talking about World Cup, let me ask you your top picks for the World Cup, and where do you expect India to finish, and who will be your 4 semi-finalists?
Well, I think India and England are the 2 favourites. So I think those two teams will make it.
Okay.
I think Australia, if the selectors pick the right team, I think with Smith and Warne back as well, who have a lot to prove, they'll be hungry, and they'll be very, very determined. Along with the guys like Stoinis, Darcy Short, Shaun Marsh, Stark, Cummins. They've got a team, they've got Maxwell, they've got a team there that could win the World Cup too and surprise a lot of people. So I think Australia will make the final 4 as well. And then that last spot will be between New Zealand, South Africa and Pakistan. It's very hard to split those guys. New Zealand always perform well in these big tournaments. I think Afghanistan are going to upset a few people as well. I think they really... Yeah, I think if Afghanistan can make some runs, their bowling could upset a few teams. So I'm looking forward to watching Afghanistan play. Yeah, that 4th spot could be any one of the number of sides, but I think the 3 that I would lock in would be India, England and Australia. That's
very, very interesting. Now, Warne, Ricky Ponting is set to join Australia as a coaching staff. Do you think he can help Australia win the World Cup back? And if so, what does punter really need to do with this side?
Oh, well, Ricky Ponting was a class player. So anytime you get some class around the group, he'll definitely help. So hopefully he can inspire the batsmen to make some runs, because I think if Australia can make some runs in that World Cup, they'll win.
Like, talking about India and the World Cup, though it's still some time away, would you say that they have found an answer to number 4 in Ambati Raidu?
Look, he's been a bit patchy. I think India's, their top 3 or 4 players, are outstanding. Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli have all done really, really well. So there are so many good players that could play there. Dinesh Karthik's done a wonderful job too in his role. Raidu, as you say, is done okay, but everyone wants him to do a little bit more and worrying about that number 4 spot. I think there's a lot to do, a lot of games to happen until that World Cup squad. But I think that, he's done pretty well, and I think he'll be supported by the team.
And there has been a lot of talk about MS Dhoni, despite him performing well. Where do you think MS Dhoni should bat? Should he bat at number 4? And would he be India's wicketkeeper in the World Cup?
MS Dhoni, for me, is in the side. He can bat number 4, he can bat number 5, number 6, depending on any situation. So he's definitely the wicketkeeper for me. In the team, and can play a role. You need that experience. Yes, it's great to have some young talent, but you need the experience in that squad to win a World Cup, because to win a World Cup, you need your big players to perform well. And if India are going to win the World Cup, they need Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and MS Dhoni to perform, as well as guys like Bhuvi and Bumrah. Those guys need to perform really well if India are going to win the World Cup.
Right. Warne, there has been a considerable debate on whether India is the best travelling side in the world currently or not. Ravi Shastri definitely feels they are. What do you think?
Well, if you look at the performances, the New Zealand performances in Australia, they were unbelievable in Australia. That's as good as a touring team I've ever seen in Australia, especially the way they bowled. Virat Kohli was superb. So, yeah, they're clearly the best side in Test cricket, home or away at the moment. It's taken them a long time to get there, but I'd have to agree.
Well, India are the top guns in Test cricket. They're occupying the second spot in the ODIs and T20s. Would you then say that their skipper, Virat Kohli, is the best, and has the tour to Australia helped Virat put all doubts on his captaincy to rest?
I think he's the best leader of a team at the moment. There's a difference between captaincy, tactics, those types of things, and leaders of a team. I'm a huge Virat Kohli fan. I think he's great for the game of cricket. I think he leads his team so well. Tactically, it's pretty hard to split, I think. I think Tim Payne, I think Kane Williamson from New Zealand are very good tactically as well. So it's very hard to say if there's any standout captain, but I think the best leader of men at the moment is definitely Virat Kohli.
Okay, interesting. That's a split verdict. Well, a captain is as good as his team, and Virat Kohli has been constantly lauding his bowlers. Would you do you see that this is the best bowling pack that India has ever had?
Definitely the best fast bowling unit I've seen from an Indian side. I think Bumrah, Ishant Sharma and Shami, the way those guys bowled in Australia was as good as I've seen any international team bowl, let alone Indian fast bowling. So I think any team I've seen for a long time, the way they bowled to Australia's top order was just fantastic. I was very surprised that Bhuvaneshwar didn't play and they went with Ishant Sharma. But he performed. That's as good as I've seen Ishant Sharma bowl for a long time as well. So yeah, they were outstanding. It's great to see India producing fast bowlers, having the depth of fast bowlers as well.
Warne, there will be some changes to the team with Bumrah coming in. Would you then say that the team that we saw in Australia will more or less be the side that'll be the one out in the park for India in the World Cup? And what's your opinion of Jasprit Bumrah?
The team that played in Australia, I think, will be that one-day side there. I think will generally be the World Cup side. There might be a change, one or two changes here or there, depending on form or fitness or injury. But I think that'll be the core team for sure. Bumrah has to play. He's the best fast. He's one of the best, if not the best, fast bowler in the world right now.
Now, Kuldeep Yadav is a big fan of you. He says he emulates you. How would you rate him? And do you think he'll be the X factor for India in the World Cup, given how many batsmen have been having difficulty to pick him? And what are the suggestions you will give him to improve?
Well, yeah, I think they're both great bowlers. I really enjoy Kuldeep especially. I think the way he bowls, the pace he bowls, I think he deceives batsmen in the air. And there's not a lot of spinners these days that deceive the batsmen through the air. They bowl really fast. So I'm a big fan of Kuldeep. And he's going to play a big part too in the World Cup because he's very hard to pick. And I don't think there's a lot of batsmen around the world that pick what Kuldeep bowls.
But we all know that the conditions will be very different in England, and India didn't particularly do well in England last time they were there. What do you think could be India's Achilles heel?
Why India are favourites to me in England is the variety they have in their attack, the class they have with their batting, the experience they have with the batting too, but also their fielding. Their fielding is as good as any side in the world. So I don't really see too many Achilles heels. I think if you're going to beat India or you're going to beat any side, you have to take early wickets.
Right.
So that middle order, for me, of India, if you can take 2 or 3 early wickets against India, that's the way you can beat them. And their middle order has to perform. I think Pandya will come back in the side, which gives them a bit of strength. but I don't see them having too many weaknesses. I think they're a very good side.
Right. Warne, India has 5 more ODIs to go against Australia before the World Cup. Would you say that this is a chance for both the teams to have a final look at their teams?
I think both sides in that series will be experimenting a little bit, maybe trying a few batsmen in different positions. But they won't be tinkering with the teams too much because both countries will want to get as close as they can to their World Cup side and play them every game, so they get used to playing with each other. At the same time, probably rotating a few quick bowlers just so they don't overdo it before the World Cup.
Right. Now, before I let you go, I have to get a comment from you on this. I was speaking to Saurav Ganguly some time back, and he seems to be of the opinion that the biggest thing ailing world cricket, in fact, international cricket today, is the lack of competition. Some of the big teams lacking competitive edge. Do you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. Not at all. I think they're the top 3 or 4 teams of anyone can beat anyone on their day. You know, you look at India, England, South Africa, Australia, Pakistan. You know, you look at those top 5 sides and you look at the way they play against each other, there's no whitewash. You know, the India-Australia series, even though India comprehensively beat Australia, it was still 2-1. You know, it was very close. It could have, you know, the first test match. So I think it's pretty competitive at the top. I don't think there's no competition for India. I don't think that's right.
Well, thank you very, very much. Once again, Warne here is hoping Rajasthan Royals and you be in the pink of health.
I'm rocking the pink, and hopefully everyone will enjoy the Rajasthan Royals wearing pink because real men wear pink.
Well, thank you, Warne.